Hi, I'm a professional birdwatcher, and these are 3 things that I wish all beginner birdwatchers knew. Number 1 is that you don't need to go anywhere or have anything. You should be birdwatching wherever you are with whatever you've got. Let me explain. Right behind me is an old coal mine, believe it or not, and it's a great place. It's just around the corner from my house. I hear robins singing, I've seen a goldcrest, some long-tailed tits. It's a wonderful spot. And the thing is about birdwatching, the only way you get better is by doing it. It's just as simple as that. If you don't do it, you won't get better. So you should do it all the time, wherever you are. If you're on your lunch break, if you're walking to the shop, if you're walking your dog, if you can get to a woods behind your house or to some fields, wherever you are, that's where you should be bird watching. And you don't need anything. You don't need a pair of binoculars, to be honest with you. You need your ears, you need your eyes, and that's about it. You know, you can actually get surprisingly close to lots of birds. The other benefit of this is actually you can see some really interesting, unusual things, because these aren't typical habitats actually. You know, industrial estates, parks, canal banks, rivers, old coal mines. These are quite unusual places, and you never know quite what to expect. Tip number 2, and this is something that people really do need to know. When you're identifying a bird, stop focusing on the size of it and the colour of it. Let me explain. So many people tell me that they've seen a massive bird in the sky and it must have been something like an eagle, which is understandable because when birds are flying high, and if it is a big bird, it can look even bigger just because the way that the light shows it. But that's really unhelpful, because actually what one person thinks is big is not the same as what someone else thinks is big, if you know what I mean. So you need to compare it to something else. Say a robin. Most people know what a robin looks like and the rough size of it. If you saw a blue tit, you could say that it was smaller than a robin. Or if you saw a blackbird, you could say it was a bit bigger than a robin. That's a much better use of the word of size. You can't just say it's a big bird, or it's a small bird, or it's a ginormous bird, or it's a tiny bird. It isn't really helpful. The other thing is colour. Now, I bet all of you have had arguments with your friends and family because one of you says that the colour is green and the other one says the colour is blue. Now, colour changes depending on individuals. We all see colour differently, but also just depending on the day. So right now, it's early spring, it's late in the afternoon, the light is really bright and all the colours are popping. But if I saw a bird high in the sky, it would probably be silhouetted. So colour's not the best thing. Other really good things to focus on instead is the shape. If a bird has this distinctive shape like a long tail or hooked beak or something like that, that's a much better way of identifying a bird. Final tip, and I think this is actually the most important one, is you need to speak to other bird watchers. Now, why is this important? Well, it's just the best way to learn, to be honest with you. You know, if you go out somewhere and you see somebody else walking around with a pair of binoculars, or you go to a bird hide and you see somebody there bird watching, just say hello and ask them, have you seen much? You could even just tell them that you're new to bird watching, because people know what birds they see locally. And actually, if you're just looking at a book or looking online, lots of birds look very similar, but actually they may not be in this country at this time of year, or they just might be so similar that you just can't tell the difference without someone pointing things out. And actually just having a chat with someone is the best way to learn. It is like just such a good way to learn, and most people are very open to it. Actually, you know, I was having a chat this morning to someone. I was in a bird hide. I said, have you seen much? And he started pointing out everything, things that would have taken me 20 minutes to notice just by sitting there. But he was like, oh, there's a snipe over there, there's some green shank over there, there's some widgeon over there, just like that, really quick. And I could learn and I could see things very quickly. And that's what you should do. Of course, if you don't live somewhere or you don't go to places where there are other bird watchers, then online's really good. There's loads of different social media pages, lots of community groups online that post constantly. So you can see what kind of birds are in your area, what kind of things people are seeing. And often people debate about the exact identification of the birds. And you can join in on that, or you can just be a silent watcher. But either way, it's a really good way to learn. Like and follow if you want to see some more bird watching tips.